Burkina Faso's political climate has taken a dramatic and dangerous turn. President Ibrahim Traoré recently survived a serious assassination attempt, a stark reminder of the instability gripping the nation. In the wake of this event, Russia has stepped in decisively, deploying 3,000 elite commandos to ensure Traoré's protection and stabilize the country. But what exactly prompted such a bold move from Moscow? Are they responding to a shared threat? Or is this the beginning of a deeper geopolitical alignment? Since Captain Ibrahim Traoré assumed power in September 2022, he has faced relentless pressure from insurgent groups, military rivals, and foreign interests. The recent failed coup attempt, reportedly planned by a mix of active and retired military officers with links to extremist groups, exposed just how vulnerable his administration has become. This latest plot wasn't just an effort to remove him. It was a coordinated attack meant to dismantle the entire government structure he's been trying to build. Investigations into the coup have revealed connections to foreign actors eager to take advantage of Burkina Faso's rich resources and strategic location. Faced with mounting threats, Traoré made a swift and calculated decision. He invited Russian special forces into the country. These troops are not there symbolically. They're actively engaged in protecting key government figures, securing critical infrastructure, and helping train Burkina Faso's armed forces. Their arrival signals a major shift in the nation's defense strategy and reflects a growing partnership between Ouagadougou and Moscow. Internally, Traoré's leadership continues to be tested by power struggles within the military and political elite. Externally, the nation is under constant threat from extremist factions operating in the Sahel region. These groups have expanded across West Africa, exploiting political instability and targeting vulnerable states like Burkina Faso. As the country's internal security structures struggle to cope, the Russian commandos have brought in advanced surveillance techniques, counterinsurgency training, and intelligence sharing that aim to strengthen the government's ability to resist both domestic and foreign threats. Russia's involvement isn't just about boots on the ground. It's also deeply symbolic. For years, Burkina Faso relied heavily on Western powers, particularly France, for military support under operations like the now withered Operation Barkhane. But that alliance has frayed. Many Burkinabe view France's presence not as supportive, but as obstructive, more about control than cooperation. Disillusioned with broken promises and constant interference, Traoré's government began to seek alternative partnerships, ones that respect the country's sovereignty. Russia seized the opportunity quickly. Unlike Western nations that often attach political strings to military aid, Russia has presented itself as a no-conditions partner, offering security assistance while recognizing the autonomy of its African allies. For leaders like Traoré, this makes Russia not just an ally, but a symbol of resistance to neocolonialism. Moscow's growing footprint in the region is strategic. By aligning itself with countries like Burkina Faso, Russia is carving out influence in a region long dominated by the West. Its support extends beyond military presence. Russia is investing in mining, energy, and infrastructure. Burkina Faso, rich in natural resources like gold, now has an opportunity to redirect the wealth of its land towards national development rather than seeing it extracted by foreign entities. More importantly, this alliance represents a broader awakening across the continent. African nations are beginning to challenge the old world order. They are rejecting the paternalistic relationships that have long defined their ties with the West. Russia's appeal lies not only in its military capability, but in its historical stance against Western imperialism and its willingness to treat African countries as equals on the global stage. For Burkina Faso, partnering with Russia is a matter of survival. With limited effective support from traditional allies, the country is forging a new path. It's a path that may be followed by other African nations similarly frustrated by unfulfilled Western promises and the lingering shadows of colonialism. The growing presence of Russian forces in the Sahel reflects a changing geopolitical reality, one where the balance of power is beginning to tilt. Yet, despite repelling recent coup attempts and strengthening his hold on power, President Traoré's future remains uncertain. The threats to Burkina Faso's security haven't disappeared, and the country continues to walk a fragile line between stability and chaos. What's clear, however, is that the geopolitical map of West Africa is being redrawn, and Russia now holds one of the pens. Burkina Faso remains on edge, and the fight for control is far from over. The country is caught in a complex web of insurgency, internal divisions, and increasing international attention. At the center of it all is President Ibrahim Traoré, whose government walks a tightrope between survival and collapse. The question now is whether Traoré can transform his early momentum into lasting stability, or if the growing threats will ultimately overpower his leadership and unravel the country's fragile future. One of the most pressing challenges Traoré faces is the relentless wave of insurgent attacks across the Sahel region. Civilians, military forces, and government institutions have all become targets. Entire communities have been uprooted, with over 1 million people displaced by violence. These extremist groups have deeply shaken the nation's foundations, and confronting them has become a defining test of Traoré's presidency. In response, he has deployed Russian special forces, not only to protect key government figures, but also to aid in the country's counter-insurgency efforts. While this partnership has brought immediate tactical support, it raises long-term questions. Can Burkina Faso achieve lasting peace through foreign boots on the ground? Security backed by another country's military might be necessary for now, but it cannot replace the deeper reforms needed to build true resilience. The root causes of extremism, such as chronic poverty, poor infrastructure, lack of education, and government neglect in remote regions, must be addressed head-on. Equally urgent is the matter of national unity. Since taking power, Traoré has faced pushback from political elites, factions within the military, and segments of civil society. These divisions are made worse by economic hardship, rising food prices, joblessness, and the breakdown of basic public services in regions most affected by violence. Though many citizens welcomed his leadership after losing faith in the previous pro-Western government, broader public trust remains elusive. The country's long history of military coups has left scars. The political atmosphere is riddled with suspicion and rivalry. Traoré must constantly defend his position, not just from external threats, but from within his own ranks. The failed coup attempt in early 2025 served as a stark reminder that loyalty within the military remains fractured. Maintaining the trust of elite units, especially the Presidential Guard, is critical. But unity within the armed forces is still a work in progress. On the economic front, the situation is equally dire. Ongoing violence has stifled growth, weakened agricultural production, and disrupted mining operations. Despite its vast reserves of gold, one of Burkina Faso's main exports, the benefits of that wealth have not trickled down to the people. Accusations of corruption and mismanagement only deepen public frustration. For Traoré's government, leveraging the country's natural resources to foster genuine development rather than allow them to be exploited by outsiders is both a challenge and an opportunity. Here again, Russia's involvement could be a double-edged sword. While it offers the promise of investment, particularly in mining and infrastructure, the government must tread carefully. Burkina Faso cannot afford to swap one form of foreign control for another. A history of colonial exploitation has left many wary of external powers. If Traoré wants to break the cycle, he must ensure that the country's wealth stays in the hands of its people, not foreign investors with hidden agendas. The geopolitical risks of deepening ties with Russia are also significant. Western powers, especially France, have criticized Traoré's shift in alliances, accusing him of aligning with a global rival that has its own ambitions in Africa. As China and Russia expand their footprint across the continent, former colonial powers are reassessing their influence in the Sahel. Traoré's move away from France could isolate Burkina Faso diplomatically, especially if Western nations respond by cutting aid or slowing investment. That's why navigating these alliances with care is essential. Traoré must balance Russian support while keeping diplomatic doors open to the West. The country still relies on international aid for development, infrastructure, and humanitarian relief. Any future strategy must blend independence with smart diplomacy. Despite the daunting challenges, there is still a window of opportunity for Burkina Faso to reshape its destiny. If Traoré can lead a government that prioritizes the needs of its people, creating jobs, investing in rural communities, and upholding human rights, he could lay the foundation for real change. The people want dignity, opportunity, and peace. Delivering that will require more than military might. It will demand leadership, vision, and a commitment to sovereignty. So what's next for President Traoré? Will his bold strategies secure Burkina Faso's future, or could they push the nation further into uncertainty? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We're here to tell the stories that matter. Stories about Africa's past, its present, struggles, and its fight for sovereignty. Join the conversation by subscribing to our channel. When you subscribe, you're not just staying informed, you're becoming part of a movement to amplify Africa's voice on the world stage. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. Together, let's spread awareness, inspire change, and take back the narrative. Thanks for watching.